Crime Channel. My name is Huda London. This is for entertainment purpose only. This is the Idaho, Moscow quadruple murders. Stacey Wells Chapin, that is Ethan Chapin, his mother, wrote this a couple of months ago. She said, "We've spent the last 8 weeks, besides the obvious, focused on Maisie and Hunter. Cards, talks, walks, hikes, tears, you name it. Yesterday, we successfully dropped them off back at the University of Idaho. Hunter was very glad to be back at the Fraternity, and Maisie was warming up to the idea. But it was so good to hear all the girls squeal and delight upon seeing her. It did this mama's heart good to hear it. The support from the University of Idaho and the Moscow Police Department, the ISP, has been profound. Maisie and Hunter are rock stars, and we couldn't be more proud of them. Their job now is just to be kids, start where they left off, keep goals and aspirations in mind." Now this is the part I found to be very interesting. She said, "For an update, anything we, Ethan, had is now frozen with the defense. For us, it involves 2 vehicles, E's belonging, that's Ethan's belonging, and a nice set of golf clubs. We've met the prosecutors, handled media inquiries, hopefully respectfully. Manage grieved, talk, and continue to try and process our new normal. However, nothing has changed. We spend no time being angry. That would be energy not well spent, and it still wouldn't change the outcome. We have to look ahead. What we confirmed, Ethan is who he was because of our family. His foundation was unwavering. He was so loved, he didn't know any different. He was profoundly supported, and our family of 5 was different than others and so very special. He loved unconditionally. He was loyal to all. He was inclusive, carefree, happy, just the best person you could ever meet. The stories are endless and amazing. He touched lives we had no idea existed. Ethan was incredible. May he rest in peace. Condolence to his family, his brother, his sister, actually his brothers, because Ethan has, I believe, 3 other siblings from the same father, or 2. So definitely his family are grieving. People grieve in different ways. And I'm really proud and happy that Maisie and Hunter are trying to move on, continue their studies. I can imagine how difficult it must be for them to continue in the same college where they lost their brother. But I guess whatever makes people comfortable with their bereavement is important. The question that I have is, when the police came with the U-Haul van and took all the stuff from the girls and the victim's house to give back to the family, we saw them carrying suitcases, boxes. That was the first round. The second time they came, they took the mattresses. And the third time they came and they're going to carry packages into the van, the court stopped them because the defense attorney did not want the things to be collected yet, which is right. I personally don't believe anything should have been taken out of the house I understand the families are grieving and they would love memories and the items of their child. That is completely understandable. But when this was such a horrific quadruple murder, DNA could be found anywhere. And what surprised me was that one of the police officers had the golf club set, if that is what it's called, and he put it in the van. But what was strange is that there were a couple of golf sticks missing from the set. I found that to be strange, because you can clearly read up, says this is from Stacy Wells Chapin. That's the triplets' mother, the Chapins. I would love to know why Ethan's parents took a private autopsy for him. When we were told about the wounds or the injuries that these poor victims had, they described Xana and Ethan as injuries to be more different. It was a sharp edge object or sharp edge item. But the girls, it clearly said stabbings. That is one of the reasons I always believe that this couldn't have been one person who did it. So why would Stacy say that she hasn't received the 2 vehicles and the golf club, the golf set? A couple of sticks was missing. I remember clearly it looked like there was place for 6 or 8 sticks, but I could clearly see there were only 4 or 5 sticks in the set. I wonder if Ethan's car contains any forensic evidence. And the second vehicle that was taken by the police, they are frozen as evidence. What happened to these poor victims? Did somebody attack them on their way home? The police was called to the Sigma Chi Fraternity party. But the reason is, why were they called? Was that the reason the police were investigating the Sigma Chi Fraternity? The news said that the Sigma Chi Fraternity was under the microscope. The timeline of the couple does not make sense at all. Where were they from 9:45 to 1:45? Not even one picture of theirs was seen. We live in the modern times. I have children their age, and I know that my children are always busy on their phones, either on Snapchat, Instagram, whatever. They're always taking pictures of themselves. And especially, we know college students going to a party, they would take a lot of pictures. Did everyone delete the pictures they took of the couple? Did everyone delete the pictures they took of the party itself? I remember hearing in the beginning that Dylan and her boyfriend took many pictures together in front of the house, around the areas and all. But as soon as this case blew out, before it even blew out, she made her pictures on private only. We saw the picture of Dylan with a mask, and somebody else was sitting with her wearing a mask, and it looked a lot like her boyfriend Quinn, but he said he was in Boise, that he wasn't in Moscow, Idaho. I personally believe that someone in the inside, whether it's the surviving roommates or whoever it is, someone knows something. This had to be someone local who knew the girls well. Since the girls took 8 hours to call the police, I'm starting to wonder if they let someone in, if they were threatened and they're to let someone in, or if they pre-planned it with the people. Something's not right. A stranger like Brian Koberger wouldn't just come and attack a full house, a house that is known to be the party venue. Who would take that chance to come and unalive 4 people, leave the dog? Now that is a hint. Why was he left? Why was Murphy and the surviving roommates left? I believe whoever was the suspect or suspects or the killer or killers knew Murphy well. It's somebody who knew Murphy well. That is one of my reasons that I believe Jack D or Jack S know more. I'm not saying they did something, but they know more. They both are the neighbors. Showalter, hoodie guy, was the last person seen near the girls. When the girls left, he was angry. So the question is, did he do something? We had David L., who was at the Grub truck, who was at the Sigma Chi fraternity party, where the fight broke out, and he was one of the people involved in the fight. Later on, he's in the Grub truck, waiting for Kaylee and Maddie. As soon as they come in, he turns away, so that they couldn't see him. For me, that tells me a lot. It's a fraternities, sororities, Greek lifestyle. I'm not saying that Brian Koberger is innocent. He could be very well involved. But I'm just saying that I personally believe it's somebody local, somebody who knows the girls, somebody who knows the rooms, somebody who knows how the steps and the arrangement, the plan of the house is made, because there were steps in different places, awkward places. Brian Koberger would have tripped if it was him. I do believe Brian Koberger was around the place, but the question I'm still trying to figure out is, why was he there? Did somebody send him to do this? Did they call him so that they could frame him? And why would a leather knife sheet be lying so nicely on the side of Maddie? Just say that Brian did it. After he unlived the girls, and after supposedly he unlived the couple, let's not forget he would have had a sharp knife, trigger warning, in his hand. That was bloody. So he himself would have realized that he needs to put the leather knife sheath back on it. Let's not forget the leather knife sheath did not have blood DNA. It had touch DNA. Could one of the surviving roommates be friends with Brian Koberger? Or could it be one of the people in the Grub truck that know Brian Koberger? I believe there was a live stream going on that all these people were sending Venmo payments like John Kashakov and his sister. There was some funny and strange Venmo payments going around from 3:30 at night. Let's not forget what Ethan's mother said. 2 a.m. is the hardest time for us all. What happened at 2 a.m.? What happened to this young, handsome man who had his whole life ahead of him? What happened to the other 3 victims who had their whole life ahead of them? Kaylee was found in a sitting position. That says a lot. Watching the picture Saeed was watching, it looked like Kaylee sitting in a sitting position. I've always looked, observed, analyzed the Banfield alcohol clip and the Grub truck. The reason I did it, because I remember some of my subscribers or some people who watch my channel were leaving messages, comments saying, why don't you move on from the Grub truck? Why don't you move on from the Banfield alcohol stop? People are telling me there's nothing to see. I've heard some creators even hinting indirectly to me that people shouldn't be so occupied. These are young boys, innocent boys, who are a bit drunk, the boys in the Banfield. People see things in different ways. And I personally do not believe that that was an innocent stop. I believe somebody called the police on the boys so that while the boys are occupied talking to the police, the other 4 figures could run and get away. That is one of my thoughts. The police were called to distract everything so that the other figures who were running could get home safely. That's what I believe. You could see the state of the 3 boys. They did not look right. The clothes that they were wearing did not look right. And when the police told them to stop, they continued going. Did they throw something in the field? Were they